You're making all my surfaces unsanitary, cat. Hey, ding-a-ling. One of the interesting aspects of dealing with the changes that come from having COVID is the things that tasted normal before, the way they taste now could be entirely different. One of the things that's different, for instance, is oil. I've been using canola oil because, and now understand, I used to hate canola oil. I did not like it at all. In fact, typically I used a garden variety off-the-shelf vegetable oil when I was cooking. I liked the flavor it added to the dish. However, since COVID, you really don't like the flavor of your garden variety's vegetable oil. And I tried olive oil for a while, but I never was very fond of olive oil to begin with. And while I can eat olive oil, again, I didn't care for the flavor it added to the food. So I was for a while just cooking without any form of oil, which of course was problematic if you didn't want things to stick to the dish. And that's just what I did to deal with it. But then I found out we had a few bottles of canola that have been sitting around not doing much at all, because we just don't cook with it that often. We use it once in a while, but that was it. Well, the fact that we had some sitting around turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because I pulled some out and I cooked with it. And one of the things I discovered was canola really didn't add much, change the flavoring much. It really just kind of, it took a back seat to the food. That really made a difference for me, so I was able to actually cook some of the dishes that I normally would enjoy. Now, things like breading on chicken is very questionable. Breading on chicken has been problematic, and breading in general has been problematic, and bread itself has been weird and problematic too. So for me, and I love bread, I really do, but for me, the fact that I couldn't have like toast, toasted bread, I can still eat regular, non-toasted bread by and large, but sometimes I can't have it with butter. Sometimes sometimes, of course, I can't, if you toast it, it tastes entirely different and really kind of tastes bad now for me. It used to be I'd loved a good, piece of buttered toast for a nice, quick, easy snack. Off. I'll throw you a piece of chicken when it's time. Anyway, lost my train of thought there. So by and large, the effect's been that I can't have like toast because it tastes awful. It really does. And yet I can eat bread to certain extents, not too terribly much. There you go. Have yourself a piece of chicken there. Similarly, in that same type of vein, the cooking of meat, while I can still eat most meats and they still taste mostly normal, at least for me, understand. The cooking process of any meat that has a lot of fats or oils in it, effectively, really throws me off because the smell is bad. The flavor of the meat's usually okay, although I will state that typically a good fatty burger, where a lot of the flavor comes from the grease, for lack of a better way to put it, that's been trouble. I mean, I can have some, but not a lot, and some taste normal and some taste very much not normal. And so it's been a real balancing act. For instance, and this is a funny for instance here, McDonald's burgers taste weird. Now, you can make your debates about whether McDonald's is a good burger or not. But, I've been eating McDonald's all my life. But while I can still eat them, they don't taste right. On the other hand, Sonic burgers, which, to be honest, I was never terribly fond of initially. I mean, they're okay. They just didn't have the flavor I enjoyed. The Sonic burgers, on the other hand, taste great. So, make of that what you will. I suspect that the leanness of the meat might make a difference of the type of lean meat we're working with here. And if the Sonic, I don't know, I'd have to look it up, so I don't know, but I think, this is a guess, that maybe Sonic is using leaner meat than McDonald's, and I can't speak to that for sure. I just don't know. Or it could be some function of the spices they use on their burgers. I don't know what's on either one. It could be the cooking method they use. It just really depends. And that's just one, for instance. Sometimes I can have a small amount of something and it's okay. Like a bite or two of it. But the third bite tastes awful. It's like the taste buds wake up and realize, oh yeah, that's not good to them anymore. All the differences have really changed my diet in a lot of ways. Number one, I'm not eating near as much. I've actually dropped about 30 pounds, and I'm going to be dropping a lot more at this rate until I get to a much healthier weight. But the effects of it have been that I might actually walk up to a perfectly beautifully cooked meal, and I might be restricted on what I can actually eat or stomach out of it because of just a random factor I don't understand. And one of them, I think, is the difference between vegetable oil and canola oil or olive oil. Like I said, I can eat olive oil. It doesn't really taste any different now than it did before, which, again, you make of that what you will. But I don't like it very much. So that hasn't changed. But the change has been like the difference between vegetable and canola. Canola actually results in a food that generally does not cause trouble for my nose or for my taste buds. So kind of an odd thing to happen. Going back to the toast for a moment or two, I am a big bread lover. But warm bread smells different and tastes different than cold bread. Once the bread is cooled off, often I can eat it. And it's mostly normal. I'm not saying it's all normal, but mostly normal. But hot bread and toast taste very different. In many cases, it's almost like sawdust got introduced into the equation somehow or another. Like the food ends up tasting almost like sawdust with the flavor of whatever I'm working on. Like chocolate. Let's take chocolate for just a moment here while I wash up my hands and put up the stove. Chocolate has been such an issue for me because I love chocolate. Sometimes I can get away with the first bite. Sometimes I can't get past the smell. And it does not seem to matter the brand or the type. I can't eat it right now. Literally, it makes me gag. Which I'm certain some people are saying, hey, yeah, great, awesome diet. Until you realize that goes a lot farther than anything else. One of my comfort foods is ice cream. Ice cream is usually heavily infused with chocolate. And you'd think, okay, well then use vanilla. Well, sometimes vanilla tastes weird. Strawberry sometimes tastes weirder. Well, many of the comfort foods you might have might be off your menu. And that's frustrating. You know, chocolate's off, most ice cream is off. Even things that, you know, toasted bread. I love toast, loved toast. It's off the menu. Cereal, breakfast cereal. Many of them are off the menu, and they're things that I classically and traditionally love, and even healthy ones. Now, a few are still on. I can still eat Raisin Bran. It's mostly okay. Raisins actually have been pretty tasty. I don't know why, because I was never a huge raisin fan, but raisins have been pretty tasty. Raisins have been tasty. So Raisin Bran's been okay. Some of the brands have been okay. Chex, no luck there. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, off the menu. And those are just examples. Most cereals are off. But, oddly enough, Fruity Dino Bites, the generic bagged cereal that you can buy in like 48 or 64 or 72 ounce bags, not a problem at all. I can have Fruity Dino Bites. And I wasn't that fond of Fruity Dino Bites to begin with. So it just really throws me off. Everything just throws me off in lots of ways here. And I just don't understand fundamentally why those changes are there. It doesn't follow any rules. It doesn't make any sense. Some things will be okay for a day or for a meal, but the next meal could be entirely different. A very few things, smell bad but taste okay. And I can't narrow that down to any one in particular right now. But how are you supposed to go through and live normally when normal things just keep throwing you off? This should not be that big of an issue, and yet it is. The different things that I can eat, it has basically meant an entire change in my eating habits. Some things are way unhealthier. Some things are way healthier. For instance, for breakfast today, I'm eating chicken with a little bit of garlic clove and some jalapeno pepper. Those should all be good things. However, onions. I would normally throw some onions into this. It would be a great complement to this as a dish. But I can't stand onions right now. And it's not even a texture thing, which some people I think can understand that. So it's a very narrow range. It doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't seem to matter if the onions are hot or cold or sauteed or anything like that. About the only onions I can eat right now are those crispy fried onions that you can buy in a French's fried onions. For a while early on, salty was a problem. In fact, potato chips, or pretty much all types, are still a problem. Even cooking this dish, all made of things I know I can eat, the smoke smells, well, smoke, but the steam off of the dish smells just a little bit off. It's all just a balancing point. Truth be told, though, I got up easy. My side effect is basically what you're seeing right in front of you. My meals get to be different. I have not suffered from a lot of the other side effects. And I caught a lot of the, actually early on when I realized this was an issue, I read up on some of those articles. And as time went on, they realized that COVID causes changes to the brain in the taste and smell centers, whatever they're called. I don't remember right now. Almost, I don't know if rewiring them is the right word, or actually causing a stunt or a reduction in brain mass in that area. And that change dramatically affects what you can deal with. Now, I've also had a lot of time to come to, I've had 9 months to come up with ways to deal with it that that work, for me at least. I've had to experiment, change oils, change the nature of the things I eat for various meals. Sometimes I might be able to eat a little bit of breakfast cereal once in a while, even though that was something I loved to have even as a comfort food. But overall, I am not having that much cereal. Milk for a while was an issue, but that seems to have abated. It doesn't seem to be a problem right now. So what do you do about that? I don't know. In a few moments I'll be able to tell you how this tastes. This is something I've not done before for this, although like I said, all the pieces should be things I can handle. So we'll see. And I don't know if these are going to pry out of this pan considering what I did. Oh yeah, they'll be nice. Nice enough at least. And while I'm no master chef, never have been, I know my way around a kitchen, a home kitchen, enough that I can find and experiment and mix and match until I get mixes that work for me. For those that are also challenged by the taste bud situation with COVID, I don't know if it'll ever change. What I do know is that I have come to find ways to move forward, to make the most of what I can and can't do. And at this point I've gotten to the point where usually I can find or work with most anything. Some of it is I've gotten used to it. And as I've gotten used to it, I've been able to adjust expectations. Able to take a little bit of several things. So variety kind of being the spice of life, for lack of a better way to say it. By varying my diet in certain meals, like for instance chicken and eggs, it means that I don't get tired of any one piece of the meal early on. And by tired, I mean my taste buds don't say, you're not allowed to eat that anymore. A little strong on the jalapeno today. Probably should have put about half that in.